Hey, Motorman here. Since my video did so well yesterday about detailing the bike, it was washing the bike and how I detail it, and because many of you have said that my bikes look great, they always look like new, and they do, and I keep them that way, let me go into a little bit more depth on this. Now, some of this stuff I've picked up from just years of experience. Others I've even picked up from books and from YouTube. Yes, I actually read books about how to keep your vehicle really clean and polish and wax it. First thing you should know, polish is one thing and wax is another. Polish is supposed to clean the paint, get surface scratches, minor surface scratches off, and make the paint shinier. After the polish, then you put on wax. The wax is supposed to maintain the shine and it's supposed to give you some UV protection. I can't say which one is better, which one isn't, as far as waxes and different brands, but I'm going to show you what I'm using here today. We've got Ultimate Compound. Now, this compound is a fairly light compound in that if you have some deep scratches, this is not going to help you. If you've just painted the vehicle or whatever piece it is, if you just painted it and then you've wet sanded it, yeah, there are better products, stronger than this. But for the purpose of just getting swirl marks off or the very light scratches that you see on your motorcycle, especially if it's a dark color, or your car, this works very well. Compound first, and then use the polish over it. That brings out the shine, takes out those fine scratches that the compound put in. And then we tell you what tools I use. Now, over the years I bought a lot of stuff, and it's a little bit different on a motorcycle than it is on a car. So I have this is from Porter Cable, and this works fairly well. The thing is, it's about, I don't know, 150 bucks. And what happens with this is when you're trying to compound, which is get those fine scratches out, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to put a little compound on here. I'll show you what happens with this one. And this is on a flat surface. On the sides it gets even worse. Now I put a little mark on the pad so you can see when it's turning and when it isn't. And I've got it up to speed number 5. You turn this on. It's going to be noisy now, so if you got earphones, lower it down a little bit. As you see, even the slightest bit of pressure on this, it stalls. This is really, I mean, you can do this, you can compound a car with this, but it is going to take you forever. And you got to be real careful. You got to actually take weight off of it. If you go down over the side, it completely stalls. It's terrible. For the amount of money that you spend on this, to me, it's useless. You're better off hand polishing it. And then I heard about this. This is Greoids. I'm not sure how you actually pronounce that. Greoids. And this is about 110 bucks. And I bought this because for a motorcycle, this is a little big for a lot of parts. So to get in and out of small spaces, this one, I said, this is going to be perfect. I was hoping that it had a little more power, but let's show you what happens with this. Same thing. Any kind of curve, it absolutely stops turning. For $100 and something, take this and throw it in the trash because it's of no use whatsoever. Now I'm going to show you this one. This is a Cyclo Polisher. I bought this at a pawn shop about 20 years ago. It doesn't have different speeds, but you turn it on and off and it seems to run at the exact perfect speed. I actually called the company because I needed to get some of these pads for it, and I gave them the serial number and they told me this was 60 years old. I mean, this thing it's much older than me, but it does not stall. It's just that it doesn't work well on a motorcycle except for the flat parts because there's a lot of small intricate areas. But you could turn this on and you could press down on it. It will polish the paint. And then we have, but new, these are about $350. So, you know, I don't know if you want to make that kind of investment. But and I found this on YouTube from a guy named Scott with Dallas Paint Correction, and I'm going to put a link to him on here because he is a professional detailer. This guy goes on and on about everything. He'll tell you, in fact, he did a review on 3 of these, and this is how I found out about Harbor Freight. For $49, this is the Harbor Freight, and it's a DA polisher. That means dual action. You can't burn the paint. It not only goes around, it goes up and down as it goes around. And I've never found that this would stall, even on the sides, especially when you get over to the sides where you actually need some pressure on it. It won't stall. 49 bucks. So I'm going to put some of this compound on here. It's almost gone. I'm going to make sure I've already seasoned the pad a bit. That means I spread it around on the pad. And I'm going to turn this on and we'll see what happens. No matter how hard I push, this thing will not stall. This has got all the power you need. Bad part of this is where they put this switch on the side. It would have been much better if it was on the top. And they may have changed it now. But we have as much power as we need. So I started thinking about this, and I said, they don't make, as far as I know, they don't make a 3-inch. But how about if I take off, this is a 6-inch pad, by the way, if I took this off and I put the small 3-inch pad from the Groits on there, and maybe that would be the exact perfect thing needed for a motorcycle. Because okay, I've got the 3-inch pad now on the Harbor Freight. I put some compound on the Tour Pack. I've got it on number 4. I'm going to turn it on. And it works. So, if you're saying to yourself, I'd like to get that small 3-inch polisher, but Harbor Freight doesn't have one for 49 bucks, well, buy the 6-inch one or the 5-inch one, and just buy a separate plate, a 3-inch plate, and this has more than enough power to compound just about anything. In fact, this is what I used on my Tour Pack when I painted it and I wet sanded it, and then I went over it. First I tried the Groits, and I was getting nowhere with that. So I changed it to this. So $49. I mean, I know that some of the stuff Harbor Freight has. I once bought a wire cutters there that fell apart in my hand the first time I used it. But I haven't had any problem with their power tools. As I say, the only drawback of it I see is where this is. It should actually be on the top, so you could just hit it with your thumb. But for 49 bucks, it does the job. Get a 3-inch polisher. There's all kinds of pads that you can get, so you can get them on Amazon. And I'm going to tell you about some other products that I use now. If you have just a small scratch on your bike or your car and you want to get that scratch out and you don't have any of these tools, I would suggest this kit. This is for getting small scratches out. I've tried it. It works very well. You do it by hand. They include with this some compound, a polish, and even a little 3000 grit sandpaper. So you use the sandpaper on it first, wet sand it, a little spot, and then you go over it with the compound and then the polish, and you don't need anything like any of these tools for small scratches. But if you get quite a few scratches, especially if it's on your car, you're going to want a little bit more. And let me show you some other products that I use and that I do recommend. Since matte finishes are getting very popular now, I don't have a matte finish on any of my bikes, but I do have a Challenger that has a matte black hood or trunk lid and roof. And I found this on Amazon, read some reviews on it, and I got to say, this works fantastic. You just spray this on, wipe it off, and it's like waxing or detailing the matte part of it. Also, they don't recommend with a matte finish to use regular car wash, so I got some of this also on Amazon, and it works fantastic. It's very concentrated, maybe a cap full and half a bucket, and it works great on washing the car. And this keeps that matte finish, because if you get any kind of regular normal wax or polish on your matte finish, it's going to put a shine on it and it sticks out like a sore thumb. It's awful. So I didn't get any of these products free, by the way. I paid for all of them, but I know through experience what works and what doesn't. This was, I tried it on a very small spot first on my Challenger, and it worked okay. I let it sit overnight, found out there were no streaks or anything in it. Then I used the car wash, and I washed the entire car, even the regular shiny parts with this. Works very well. I recommend both of these products. They're a little bit on the expensive side, but the worst thing you want to do is, you know, if you got a matte finish Harley Davidson bike, is screw up that finish and have little shiny spots all over it. Don't do it. So that's my lesson for today. That's my tips for today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you got any questions, shoot me an email. Don't be afraid to comment below if you've got a comment that's worthwhile. I know there's some complainers out there, but that's okay if that's what you like to do. And as I said, if you want some really professional advice on all kinds of things about detailing, it's not specifically for motorcycles, but Scott with Dallas Paint Correction. I subscribe to his channel. By the way, I hope you hit the subscribe button here, because I'm going to come out with all kinds of videos like this. Since I see the reaction they're getting, I guess you're interested in what I have to tell you and my experiences through all kinds of things, both in riding a motorcycle, cleaning the motorcycle, anything to do with bikes, and even some great cop stories. Hit that button down below, and there's a little bell. If you hit that bell as well, and oh, by the way, I want you to give me a thumbs up, but if you hit that bell every time I come out with a video, you'll be notified about it, probably in your email, or at least when you go to YouTube. So till next time.